What's up, Super Cool Nerds? Ricardo here in another edition of Super Cool Nerd Nation, and today I have the one and only Charles Poynter with me. How you doing?
How's it going?
Doing pretty good, man. So this is like my 4th or 5th episode, so I'm very excited. I've known you, and I do that because, like I said, we were talking a little bit before the show. We know a lot of cosplayers, but we really don't know one another. So, but I remember seeing you at Dallas Comic Con as Emmett.
Right.
Was that like your first big cosplay you had done?
It was the first cosplay I actually made. I'd gone to Dallas Fan Days the previous year in a Spider-Man costume that I just bought just to kind of get my feel for a con.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was the first one I ever actually made and wore. So.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna guess you are a fan of Legos.
Yeah, I grew up, I had just this huge, because back when I was a boy, they didn't have like the theme sets they have now. You can buy like Star Wars, Doctor Who and all that. You just got a Lego set.
Yeah.
And so I had this huge Tupperware box of Legos, and you just kind of just made what you could out of. There was no theme. So the closest thing we had to a theme was I think his name's Benny.
Benny, yeah, the space pilot.
Yeah, they had the space set. So, but that was the closest thing we had. So yeah, really, I wanted to do something that kind of stood out from all the usual stuff you see at a con. You always have the Marvel and the DC and stuff, and I guess I kind of wanted to make a big splash.
You definitely did.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'll make a Lego character. Maybe some people would get it, maybe some people would be excited, and it was just crazy.
How did you kind of figure out how to build Emmett? How did that? How was the planning stages for that?
For Halloween the previous year, I'd made this real simple Tin Man, kind of steampunk Tin Man costume, and for like 6-7 months before that, I'd been on several forums about cosplay and just reading how people did things, and still being new to it, I wanted to make something simple, and so I thought a Lego character would be easy to do, and Tin Man was all foam too.
Yeah.
So I just found a 3D model of the Lego, and there's a program called Pepakura that you unfold the templates, and I unfolded it, folded the 3D model so it was like a pattern, and just went from there, and the stars aligned and it all came together. So.
Well, like I said, you definitely made a big splash on that, because everyone's like, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. That's a giant. So I think at that point, no one had really seen anyone do a Lego version of anything.
Right.
And then after you had done it, like a couple years later, we saw a giant Lego Hulk and we saw a Lego Batman.
Yeah.
So you inspired people. So you inspired people to do those. So you said the previous year, so I'm thinking 2014 was Emmett?
Yes.
So 2013 was when you first started cosplaying.
Right.
How'd you get into cosplay? What made you kind of decide, oh, I'm gonna go check this out?
Well, I've always been into costumes. When I was a kid, I was into costumes. Everybody always starts somewhere kind of in that kind of nerd, geek community. I grew up, my big thing was I like kaiju movies.
Okay.
So I grew up with Godzilla, the old school, guy in a rubber suit, Godzilla, and I was real big into horror movies, which, they were few and far between then. But I always was really big into special effects and makeup and stuff. I used to read Fangoria when I was a kid. So I guess my start kind of was in the horror monster genre, and I always liked costumes, and I always wanted to do that for a living. I always wanted to be a makeup artist, special effects guy. And you grow up and things don't always work out the way you want them to. But I started seeing, cosplay 4 or 5 years ago was still kind of it wasn't as big as it is now. It wasn't as mainstream. But I was seeing pictures of San Diego Comic Con, and everybody had these really elaborate costumes, and I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. Wonder if I could do something like that. But it was kind of in the back of my mind. And a show on Sci-Fi started called Face Off. That was.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was. They bring in kind of budding makeup special effects artists, and they would compete to see who could do the best makeup. And I went on a trip, business trip to North Carolina, and saw the show, and it was like marathon, and I watched it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna make a costume. That's really how I got started.
Awesome.
So
So you said as a kid you were into costuming. Were you like in theater in high school?
I
or
was in
middle
theater.
school?
Yeah. I did do quite a bit of theater. I actually was doing community theater before my son was born. I got back into it, and then he was born, and it kind of mutated into cosplay. So, yeah, I did quite a bit of theater in high school, a little bit in college. I never finished college, but while I was there, I did some. And yeah, I just my mom would help me with these crazy elaborate costumes when I was a kid. I dressed up as Loch Ness Monster for this book report, and like I said, I never did normal stuff. I never did like Spider-Man or Batman. I always did these really weird, characters.
The most weird thing I ever did as a kid was my mom made me. I was like, this was second grade, so I was like 7, 8. My mom made me a Hercules costume from the movie.
The Disney Hercules?
Yeah,
Okay,
so this is
yeah.
97, but I'm here, this 80-pound kid, maybe 80 pounds wet, and I'm skinny as hell, but I've got like all the little things going on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Hercules, and absolutely no muscles whatsoever.
Yeah.
You said growing up, you watched the kaiju movies. Did you see those like in the theaters, or did you just kind of happen upon those on TV? How?
We caught them in the theater whenever we could. I mean, we're talking like 74, 75. So, I mean, we didn't have cable. So, anytime they come to the theater, my mom would take me. And I remember there was one particular one, I can't remember which movie it is now, but it's the one where he's fighting, I think he's fighting Mechagodzilla, and there's another kaiju. And they beat him up. They beat Godzilla badly, and I mean, I was just so distraught. I started crying, and my mom got so embarrassed we had to leave the theater because I was so upset. I was like, "Oh man, Godzilla's losing." So, but yeah, I was pretty into it. I had all these. There was Mattel did this series of kaiju toys, and there was a Godzilla, and there was a Rodan, and there was a line of robots. I can't remember.
Wasn't Transformers, was it?
No, Transformer wasn't even around.
Was it GoBots?
No, it wasn't GoBots. GoBots wasn't around either. It was like, I want to say it was Mazinger, M-A-Z-I-N-G-E-R. It was a Japanese, I don't want to say predecessor to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but that style of robot.
Okay, cool.
And they were about this tall, and I had like 3 or 4 of them, and we just had these epic battles in the bedroom.
So with the kaijus, was that your introduction into quote unquote nerdom?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it was, again, I mean, I'm 45, so the biggest nerdom at that time was probably Star Wars.
Did you get into that right away?
I did. I'm not a fan now, but back then, I mean, Star Wars was life. I mean, because it was the only thing that was out there. It was the only thing that was like that. We didn't have, now there's like a new series every year.
There's Star Trek, and then there's
Star Wars,
space this, space that.
Right. And of course, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is taking off, and it's
right.
juggernaut. So we didn't have that as much back then. So Star Wars kind of was life. It was the big thing.
Did you grow up reading comic books?
I didn't. I say that I think every child at some point probably has 1 or 2 comics. So I had a few, and Spider-Man was probably my biggest comic book thing. But I didn't collect them. I didn't stay up with the stories. I wasn't really big into them.
So what made you decide to do Spider-Man as your first official cosplay?
It was easy to get into. I mean, it's a spandex suit, and Spider-Man had just come out. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man, the one with
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. And it was easy to get into. I could hide my face, so nobody knew who I was. And I'm a small guy, so I couldn't. Not easy. I can't get dressed up and be an effective Batman or without padding up. So
no, that's the hard part of being such a short guy. That's why I kind of did Princess Batman. I'm like, okay, cool. A friend of mine dared me, that said to me I wouldn't do it, but also I don't have to be big and hulking like Batman normally is. So I'm 5'7".
Right.
Batman's 6'2", 6'3". So I'm like, I wish I was. So now you started something called Creature Carnivale.
Yeah.
How did that come about? What was the inspiration behind that?
Like I said, a big fan of horror movies, and wanted to get kind of more into, I don't want to say production, but that's about the only word I can think of. I want to introduce some things to the community that aren't just straight up cons, where everybody's got to go all out and dress up and just have more kind of social events. But
so not necessarily meeting guests and all that, but actually hanging around.
Exactly. Getting people together for a party with some extras, like I've got some burlesque and I've got some magic act coming and stuff, and just have people get together that are seeing each other at the cons, like we talked.
Yeah.
You like your idea,
Yeah.
You see these people and you're like, hey, and you know nothing about them. Now it's more of a social situation where they can have some drinks, see a show, hang out, and just, not all the craziness of a regular con.
And why the Creature Carnivale theme to it?
Again, because I'm a horror fan, but also because horror cosplay can be easy. You can throw a pair of vampire fangs in and be done with it.
That's true, yeah.
So, that way you can come out, you can cosplay, you can be as elaborate as you want, or you can be as simple as you want and wear something, throw a pair of devil horns on and call it a night. And it's a little tongue-in-cheek, so it's, I'm going to be there as Peter from What We Do in the Shadows. So,
I did see you debuted that at, what was the last
Frightmare.
Frightmare, that's right.
Yeah.
How was reaction to that?
It was really good. It was really good. It surprises me still how many people have not seen that movie. So I got a lot of Nosferatu, but I mean it's kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
So.
Man, when I saw the movie at Alamo, which we're at right now. We're at Las Colinas right now. But it was me and a bunch of my coworkers, and we just could not stop laughing. We were crying laughing. Have you seen the TV show at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen all of this season, waiting for I'm glad it got renewed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have cable, so I don't get a chance to watch it.
Oh,
I need to find it online somewhere so I can stream it.
Slow start, give it a couple episodes, but after that, it's perfect.
Any cosplays you're kind of currently working on? Anything in the future you really want to tackle?
Yeah, I'm currently working on the Tommy Lee Jones version of Two-Face from Batman Forever. I'm starting to get more towards the makeup side of things and getting away from fabrication.
How is trying to find the fabric?
Well, I've got somebody who's going to do the suit, the suit for me. I actually have the patterns out and everything. I mean, it's going to be as close as I can get it.
Cool.
So I can concentrate on the makeup. Of course, I've been working on Megamind for 3 years now.
3 years?
Coming up on 3 years, yeah.
I do like your updates every 6 months.
Yeah.
of that, hey, I've got this part. I've got this part.
It's coming along. I'm hoping to have that ready for next year, but I've said that before, so we'll see. I think next year's makeup project will probably be Pinhead.
Ooh.
So yeah, I've done a lot of family-friendly stuff, and I'm starting to get away from that and get more in my comfort zone as far as horror goes. I'll always have something that I can take to
like Fan Expo,
right? Something that's friendly, but
Frightmare is a different story.
Yes. So actually, I'll probably be taking Pinhead to one of the Fan Expo cons.
Nice. Your son, how old is he now?
He's 8.
He's 8. Mm-hmm. Is he also into all Star Wars, MCU, that kind of thing?
I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son, and it's one of those situations where the more you're around something, the more you don't really
get into it.
Right.
Okay.
My 14-year-old, she's into all the whatever 14-year-old girls are into. My 8-year-old actually kind of has helped me with some of the more obscure characters because he doesn't collect comics and he watches the movies like we all do.
Yeah. But
he's real big into the figures.
Okay, yeah.
So he'll get a figure and he'll go, I don't know who this is. Like, I don't know who it is either. And then we both look it up and then we know, okay, well this is Tombstone from Spider-Man. So he's helped me with a lot of because he has a lot of the books that have just like the encyclopedias that have the different characters in it. So, but he's really big into wrestling.
Hey, so am I.
And I'm not. So. Yeah. So.
Do you all have the WWE Network?
No.
No.
No, but they went to Raw last night.
Yeah, I don't know if Raw's WWE's just going downhill right now.
Is it?
AEW is the thing. I think you will like AEW because it's more adult. It's more about the storytelling and matches than it is about just trying to keep it PG. So it's just.
Is that a WWE franchise or is it
its own thing? It just started. Okay, so they were told you cannot sell out a 10,000 seat arena at all, and they did it in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So
Nice.
the fans are the fans. This is the fans kind of saying, no, we want this kind of wrestling. So.
Right.
I don't know if your son's seen it. They just did a free show on Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So you can just look that up. I would recommend not watching the very last match because it's barbed wire and thumbtacks
Okay.
and steel chair covered in barbed wire. But everything between that was absolutely amazing.
Cool.
So
Cool.
you just got back from Disney World.
Yep.
And you also have a giant Mickey Mouse cosplay.
Yes.
How did the Mickey Mouse one come about?
I'm like I said, I'm getting into some more adult-themed characters, but I do charity work with a group called Capes for Kindness,
Okay, yeah.
and I wanted a kid-friendly costume, something I could take, and it was really just kind of an impulse buy. I didn't make it; it was kind of an impulse buy, but it's been a big hit.
I did see that picture with you had something
Yeah.
in your hand. I don't know if people seen it, so go ahead and let people know what.
I went to Fan Expo earlier this year, and a buddy of mine brought me his Infinity Gauntlet. So I was walking around with Belle and had the Infinity Gauntlet, which it went over pretty well. Everybody was getting a good kick out of that. So
You and your wife, are you both into all the nerdy stuff, all the cosplay stuff?
she's actually more into it than I am. She's
Okay.
real big into. She's a real big Stephen King fan. I mean,
Ooh.
she will talk your ear off about Stephen King.
Your wife and my wife need to meet them because they absolutely my wife same thing. She's read every book twice, at least minimum. So, anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, and she's a lot more forgiving about movies than I am. It's kind of a running joke that I don't like movies, which actually isn't true, but
You have your Facebook page about that too.
Charles hates movies. Yeah, yeah. So she's real big into Stephen King. She really likes crime, drama stuff. I can't think of it. Like SVU.
The Departed.
What's that?
The Departed.
Oh, she loves that movie. Yeah.
Do you love the movie? Do you hate it?
I'm indifferent. Honestly, I mean, it was good. It was fine. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't think it's fine.
Oh yeah. Speaking on the hating movies, what is the one movie you hate the most? A lot of people just absolutely give you the most shit for.
Oh gosh.
Or a few. There's a couple.
Okay. I don't like any of the new. That's not true. There's a couple. The current DC cinematic universe.
Okay. None of them.
With the exception of Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Aquaman was kind of stupid fun, and Wonder Woman was good, but the rest of them have just been.
Did you watch Shazam?
I take that back. Okay, see, here's a good example. Shazam was fine.
Okay.
Everybody loved that movie. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
So, and I'm not a Marvel or DC fanboy, but you know.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Okay,
here we go.
This is
here
a
we go.
perfect one. I absolutely despise Hereditary. Everybody thought that was the most fantastic horror movie, and oh man, my wife and I both were like, did we see the same movie that everybody else did? Because
I'm actually kind of with you on that one. I think people hyped it up so much when I finally watched it. I actually found it hilarious when the girl, spoiler, when the girl hit her head on the pole. I could not stop laughing. I had to pause the movie because I thought that was the stupidest thing.
See?
But it was so funny. And then, of course, they show the picture of her head covered in ants. And I lose it even harder. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
That was so funny just because it kind of came out of nowhere, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, it was okay. It was whatever.
And you know, like you said, they hyped it up, you know, scariest movie in ages and da-da-da-da-da. I'm thinking, okay, and it started off okay, and then just at the end, it just was like, what the hell?
Okay, so the guy who did Hereditary just did another movie called Midsommar.
Yeah.
The movie is 2 hours, 26 minutes.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay.
I am hoping to sometime this week. Are you going to go see that one? Or are you going to wait for it to come out
Yeah, I'll wait for
on
it to come
DVD?
out. I'll wait for it to come out, yeah. Yeah.
What is the one movie you do like, though? What's like the one that you're like, no, this is like the best, one
Fury
of the
Road.
best? Fury Road?
Fury Road.
Oh yeah, you also did.
Yeah.
I forgot you did that costume. Man, I forgot that was you. I forgot you did
Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe. That's right.
Yeah.
How long did that one take to make?
That was probably 6 months. I had a lot of help. There's a guy in New Jersey who was doing a build of his own at the same time. So we had a lot of collaboration between the two of us. It was nice. I would say, okay, I can, here's this, and he would go, okay, well, here's this, and we would actually send parts of the costume back and forth to each other. So yeah, that to me is a flawless, perfect movie. Prior to that, the title holder was Fight Club. Ooh. So I like my movies a little gritty.
A little gritty on the weird side. How many times did you see Fury Road in the theater?
The theater, 3 times.
3 times.
But I can't tell you how many times I've seen it at home.
Okay.
I'll even go back and watch just, specific
scenes.
Yeah. That movie just blew me away.
I used to do this as a kid. I would go back and rewatch the pod race over and over again in Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay.
Then again, I was 9 when that movie came out, and for me, that was like, my parents had showed me the original Star Wars, and I loved them, and then when this new one came out, I'm like, cool, it's my turn now. And
right.
So, as being 9 years old when that movie came out, I absolutely love the film. I know it's garbage, but I love hot garbage.
Well, I think that goes without saying. You've got those kind of nostalgia glasses on. Anytime you see a movie as a child, it's perfect. I love it. It's great, and you may go back as an adult and go,
yeah.
What happened?
Is there any movies like that for you? That you like as a kid you absolutely love, but now you kind of like, I love it because I was a kid, but at the same time, this is.
Can't think of any because I think maybe my opinions might have shifted. like I loved Home Alone when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I went back and when you watch it as an adult and as a parent, you're like, this kid needs his ass kicked. This kid is a punk. So yeah, I think your perspective changes.
Changes a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna rewatch it this Christmas, last Christmas, we would order a pizza and we would at the time when my wife was vegan, she would order like her pizza, and I would order I would do double pepperoni pizza, and we would watch Home Alone. Mm-hmm. And this year, now that she's no longer a vegan, we would just order like a big pepperoni pizza and just watch Home Alone because it's a perfect pizza Christmas decorating the tree movie. So, so not so much into comics and movies. You hate a lot of movies. Anything else kind of in the nerdum, I guess, like bubble you're kind of into?
I really am, and it's a very small kind of niche, but I really do like post-apocalypse, and it's not like not talking zombie, you're talking like Mad Max. I love that kind of that
genre.
And very much into cyberpunk, which is starting to make a kind of a push now. So I'm glad to see that as well. Matrix is a fantastic movie. That kind of tech.
Yeah.
Not far-fetched tech like Star Trek or like Star Wars, but that kind of this might be feasible in a few years type of technology. So
speaking of that, did you watch Alita Battle Angel?
No, I haven't, and I want to.
Okay.
I did see I think I saw the actual anime when I was in high school, but that was so long ago, and I only vaguely remember it. But yeah, I do want to check that one out. I haven't seen it yet though.
What about there's the new game with Keanu Reeves in it, Cyberpunk. So 2077,
yeah,
I think is what it's called. Are you?
Yes, waiting.
So do you game? Are you also a gamer?
I used to be a really hardcore gamer, like a really hardcore gamer. That's kind of tapered off over the years, but yeah, there were many a night where we would have 6 or 7 of us crammed in my apartment playing Diablo 2 or Counter-Strike or some of the older games, but. Now I don't play as much. I do play a few games here and there, but nothing hardcore anymore.
Do you usually do PC or console?
Oh, PC primarily.
PC.
Yeah.
Did you build your own computer?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess that's another thing is I'm really into tech. I have 2 3D printers, and I do a lot of tinkering with that kind of thing. And most of my builds now have at least 4 or 5 components that are probably 3D printed. So
right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
So you mentioned Diablo 2 or 3?
2. I played Diablo 3 for a little bit.
A little bit.
Couldn't get into it too much. But.
What was like the one game you just play over and over again, never get tired of?
There's a few. There's a much older game called Star Control 2, which is now free. Yeah, you can download it. But it was a space exploration game, and
Nice.
that was a lot of fun. Really into this old arcade game. One of my favorite arcade games is Strider. Probably know that one. I play Hearthstone is one I play quite a bit now.
I've heard of that one.
It's similar to Magic the Gathering. It's Blizzard's version of it.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'll load up any of the Castlevania series. Is a pretty big hit. So.
Yeah, you gotta kill those Nazis, right?
Yeah.
So you've done a couple cons here in DFW. Are you wanting to go to like Dragon Con, San Diego, New York, any of the bigger like mainstream cons?
Sure. I'd like to check out Dragon Con. I hear a lot of good things about it. Back in the day, if you'd asked me about San Diego or New York, probably, but because it's become so mainstream now, I hear it's just like, an ocean of humanity, and it's like shoulder to shoulder. So
I went 2 years ago. It wasn't too bad. So we got lucky. Because we went as press, we got to do preview night. And I stood in line for the Mattel thing for maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
But that was preview night, so I can't imagine it being on the regular day. But it wasn't actually too bad. Because honestly, there's people that don't necessarily get a badge for it, but they still go and they hang around outside of the con. So like a lot of the cosplays were outside, and you did have a number of them inside as well. But the cosplay game there was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And Dragon Con, like I said, I've heard a lot of good things too. I've had a couple friends go, and all I hear is a 4-day party and all in cosplay. And I'm like, I kind of want to go do that.
Right.
I am. I'm almost 30 as well, and because of my job, I feel like I'm actually like 50. So, but I'm like, can I do it? Can my body take it? I think so. I think I'm young enough still so I can take it. So Dragon Con though, sometime.
Yeah. Soon. Like I said, I got my friends go out there, and they say it's a great time. So it's just planning and finding time to go. So.
Did you growing up? You say you watched the Alita Battle Angel anime, kind of. Did you ever get into anime at all?
Not a whole lot. I've seen none of the series. I've seen a couple of the movies. I didn't get into it so much, but I do have a soft spot for Akira, and I do have a soft spot for Ninja Scroll.
Are you excited for the live action Akira, or are you kind of hesitant?
I like who's directing it, but
Okay.
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
I mean, I kind of jaded.
Okay, I understood. Like it's.
That movie is there's so much going on in the movie. I mean, and the technology I think is there now that they could, but there's so much crazy going on in that movie that we'll just have to see what they do with it.
Did you watch Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Because I remember the Akira like being in that one, so
Yeah.
like, among other things.
Yeah, it was. I'd read the book before, and
Same.
Yeah, the book is a love letter to anybody who grew up in the '80s. I mean, it's just like, here's just all this stuff that that you remember that was cool. And I understand for licensing issues, they had to take some things, put some things in, and it was okay. It was fine.
At least
I'm gonna say that it was fine.
At least you didn't hate it though.
No, I didn't hate it. It was okay. I think it's one of those situations where you read the book and with any movie and you have expectations, and then
yeah. Now I kind of went into it. I'm like, okay, I know it's Spielberg. I know Ernest Cline wrote the script, so he is adapting his own book into it. So I'm like, okay, like if kind of like same thing with like whenever like Interview with the Vampire came out. Which, by the way, are you ever gonna possibly do Interview with the Vampire cosplay?
I'm not handsome enough.
I think you are.
I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not Tom Cruise.
You could be Claudia.
Well, there you go.
So I've kind of like some of the movies that like if it's adapted by somebody else, I'm kind of like man. But like Interview with the Vampire, I think it's one of my favorite movies, especially because Anne Rice kind of like wrote the screenplay for it. So it's like cool. She's adapting her own book. It is her vision of what the movie would be. So like people can hate it, but it is her vision, her story. I like it. So
I thought Interview with the Vampire was well done. Now I haven't actually read the book all the way through.
I think you will love the book.
But yeah, I thought it was well done.
Do you read much? Do you like to read?
I used to. I don't. A book really has to grab me now for me to sit through and read it. I don't. Used to be a pretty voracious reader, but not so much anymore.
What was some of the books you like reading growing up? Or the one that you always have to recommend to people?
My favorite book is a book called Snow Crash, and it's a cyberpunk book.
Okay.
It's about, and it's pretty. I mean, there's some pretty bizarre futuristic ideas in it, like all of the pizza places are run by the mafia now. And,
of course, the Italian mob.
Yeah, the United States has been divided up into countries that are owned by corporations. So, like Microsoft is a country now, and yeah, and
oh my god, I kind of want to read this now.
yeah, and the overall plot. I mean, when you get to the point where you're like, oh, I mean, it's just like, and they're supposed to be making a TV series out of it, but again, that book is so
complex.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on in that book. It's by Neil Stephenson, I think. Neil Stephenson. I might be wrong.
I'm gonna have to look that up because
look up.
Now I'm interested in reading this book now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay, cool. This sounds like really cool. Like right now, I'm usually more of a. I like to read like a lot of like historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm huge into histories. Like a few months ago I finished George Washington. I've read Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading John Adams right now, and I read books about like Columbine and what happened in Parkland, and I like a lot of history stuff, whether it's tragic or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, but every once in a while, like I read Ready Player One. It's one of my favorite fiction books,
Mm-hmm.
but with the fiction part, it needs to capture me
Right.
really. So, because I'm like, cool, this is all made up, but with like sometimes for me, real life is more bizarre than fiction.
Sure.
But what was the name of the book again?
Snow Crash.
Snow Crash. So if you're cyberpunk, go out and find Snow Crash. So cool. Where can they find you on social media?
All of my stuff is under Chaks Productions, which is CHAKS and then Productions, with the exception of Twitter, which cuts it, so it's just Chaks Production. But you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and then Twitter.
All one word?
Yeah,
Okay.
all one word. And then Creature Carnivale, which is coming up August 2nd, is Creature Carnivale. It's Carnival with the E on the end of it. CreatureCarnivale.com.
Cool. And tickets just went on sale yesterday, the day before?
They've been on sale for a little bit.
A little bit? Okay.
Yeah. But all that information you can find on the website.
Cool. And then, because you mentioned, how'd you come up with the name Chaks Production?
It's probably not going to be a very funny story if I tell it, but my wife and I, when we first started going out, we went to Genghis Grill to eat, and I signed up for their birthday club. Okay. And so the following year, when I got the email for like the free meal or whatever, it said, happy birthday, Chaks. It was just those two words for my name. And we laughed about it, and didn't think anything. It was a kind of a running joke for years. And so when I got into cosplay a few years later, I said I'm gonna start a cosplay page, but I don't know what to call it. And my wife said, "We'll call it Chaks," and I'm like, "That's perfect. It'll just be Chaks Productions."
That actually is pretty funny.
So I mean, there's no.
They misread your name and put it under Chaks instead of Charles.
You're right.
Which I don't understand how you.
I don't. Well, that's why it was listed twice. Chaks. That's somebody's real name. So I don't know.
Hey, maybe somewhere out there. I mean, there's a billion people in the world. Maybe somebody's called Chaks.
Maybe.
So awesome, man. Awesome, Charles. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've known each other for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's actually nice getting to actually know you. And man, this was awesome. Thank you guys so much. This will be this will be up Thursday. So yeah, find them on. Do you do commissions?
I do 3D print commissions. You can hit me up on my Facebook page. Just message me. I can do some modeling too if you're looking for that. I don't do full commissions anymore just because of the time. But always hit me up if you have any questions or projects or something you have in mind.
Cool. So if you guys need 3D printing, just hit up Charles on his Facebook page on Chaks Productions, and we'll see you at Creature Carnivale, and then the next con, and then we're looking forward to seeing all your other cosplays.
Cool. Appreciate it. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then, as always, keep on nerding.